Hey, it is going live. It's taking a minute to show me that I'm live. So if you see me, that's what's happening. I'm live. Hello. Howdy. How are you today? Today is a Cowork on Thursday, January 30th, 2025. I'm making these Coworks so they're good anytime. Welcome to the Cowork space. If you haven't been here before, we are here to get some work done, to make some progress on our projects, on our goals, on our writing, on whatever tasks you need to organize or plan. We're going to do some stuff together. If you're like me, you might be distracted lately. You might be finding it hard to concentrate. You might be finding it hard to make progress on things. Excuse my background. There's a little bit of chaos. It feels a little chaotic these days. I'm not going to list all the reasons why it feels chaotic because I would never stop talking about it. I would never stop. But today, I just want to lead us in a different direction. I want to lead us towards where you want to go, which in my case is a sense of peace. And excuse the recycling. We got to take out recycling. It's been cold. I want peace. I want a sense of focus. I want a sense of groundedness. I want a sense of love. I want a sense of joy. I want a sense of being on purpose, of doing something good. If you're here, then you want to do good in the world. You feel a sense of wanting something good for other people. And you might want to change. You might want to change from what you're seeing, from what has been exhausting you, from what has been distracting you, what has been adding some friction, adding some fear, adding some pain, adding some worry or concern for you. You're in the right place if any of that applies. And if it doesn't apply, I mean, you can still find something out of this too. I'm really not here to create division, to put us into sides and categories. Like, I'm here because I think that deep down, all of us are human and we all deserve certain things. We all have certain rights. We all have certain needs and wants as humans. And the more that we acknowledge that, the similarities we all have, the better we're off we're going to be. Because as soon as we say, oh, well, they're not like me, they're like XYZ, we start to create divisions, not just in the society that we live in, but also within ourselves. I think all of us do better when we accept all of ourselves, and it's a lot easier when you accept all of the other people. You know, as soon as we start saying something about somebody else, like, those judgments are going to be applied to yourself in the back of your mind too. That's kind of deep. It's kind of Jungian. It's kind of psychological. We can go down a road with that. But today I really want to talk about this idea of being like a canary in the coal mine. That there's some of us, and the kind of people I tend to draw, that are really sensitive, and we notice stuff maybe before other people do. So like what I was saying about, I sense this pattern of division that separates us and then causes us actually to be hard on ourselves. I know I notice it within myself, and I notice it within others. And it's like so heavy and intense, and it causes so much suffering among people in society and individually. And I think it's what leads people to abuse substances and to not connect with people the way that they would in a really healing state of mind. So when you notice something that bothers you, when you notice something that there's vulnerable people, it's troubling you, the way they're treated in society, or you're scared for yourself, or you're scared for your family member, or you're scared for your neighbor, or you worry about the future. And other people are like, it's fine. Like, don't worry about that. It doesn't really work. And it doesn't really work to say that to yourself either, because the first step of having a feeling that something is wrong is just to validate yourself that maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm right, and I'm a canary in the coal mine, and nobody else is noticing what I notice because I have higher sensitivity. I have higher sensing abilities. And it's not just a gift, it's a skill. And it's a skill you have to learn to channel. Otherwise, it can become so intense to have worry and to have fear and to have hurt because of what's going on around you, even if it's not you that's affected, but because your empathy is so high, it can be so intense that people just literally shut it down and then become numb. And then they're just contributing to the same thing, right? then they're going to invalidate other people's feelings, or they're just going to like not be able to hear other people's feelings and things like that. So it contributes to the problem. And that's why it's a skill to be the canary in the coal mine and to be able to be in your highest and best purpose, because we are important and we are supposed to say something, and we are supposed to find a way to channel our energy. Not saying it has to be like me. It doesn't have to look like anybody else. It's your own way of doing it. And the more you listen to your feelings and learn to channel them, they actually can become like huge, like the compass rose of your life, and to lead you. Like I feel like that compass rose in my life has led me to get out of relationships that weren't working and end up in the right place at the right time to meet my husband, who we have an amazing connection, and he's the joy of my life. And that bond is so sacred and special to me that I never would have been in another country at the time to meet him and listen to how important that relationship was, to put the work in and make it, reconfigure my whole life around it. I would not have gotten there if I didn't listen to myself. I could have ended up in a different relationship where I wasn't feeling right, and I didn't even have the words for it, but I listened to myself, and it began with just saying, yes, maybe there's something that I should listen to inside of me that's speaking. Maybe I should get curious. And that's the first step. The second step, again, and this is learning how to work with it as a gift. This is just really what I wanted to share. We need to learn how to prepare ourselves internally for changes, because the world is going to be changing our whole lives. It's 2025. The world is going to be changing our whole lives. It's not going to stop. It's been changing. I've been on the planet 37 years. It's been changing the whole time. It's not going to stop. So this isn't even a judgment about recent events of any kind, okay? But a lot of people are feeling it recently. It's just a part of life. So let's stop denying that we're going to have to be leveling up. Okay. If you knew a storm was coming, you would do what? You would like shut your windows, bring the laundry, hang out to dry inside, maybe get some water, maybe get some food, maybe get some flashlights, some batteries, maybe a generator. We would take these external preparations. But what we don't do is we don't talk as much about the internal preparations for change. And it's something I've been really paying attention to, because my life has changed a lot over the last few years. I lost my dad a few years ago, for instance. It was my only parent living. And I had to make a lot of changes, and I had to decide, I need to like really level up the way that I'm taking care of myself so that I can be happy again. Like there was no other way. And there was one moment when I just realized I was waiting for like this wind to come catch me so I could be like a little bird, like launched into the air. But I realized, what am I waiting for? I'm waiting on something outside of myself to lift me up out of this place. But when I really need to be learning how to flap my own wings and create my own wind and launch myself up. Okay, so that's what I mean by take internal preparations, learn how to do that. And again, I can't generalize for everyone. But during these times, I always try to do some kind of exercise that is for that purpose of like launching you up and getting you up in the air. So that way our Cowork time is really positive for you and focused on something that is meaningful. Because I know it can be difficult, but these are the sort of things that we need to build a muscle and flex it and make ourselves stronger and can more consistently reaching for the tools and reaching for the supports and have our toolbox filled to the brim and leave the toolbox out, because you're going to be needing it. So that is the message I want to take away from today. And I do have a class on some of the things that I've used to become more resilient. It's called the Optimism Program, and I'm going to put the link in the description for you. And I used to have, just so you know, if you clicked on it ever before, I used to have just a very basic page on there, but now it is much more filled out. It has a lot more description, a lot more specifics, and even a video where I go into what is included in that. And it's on sale. So it's around $25 or something like that right now. So if you would like more tools in your toolbox, you can check that out. And it's a process that I've used to really figure out what makes me happier, what makes me calmer, what makes me more connected to myself and more able to withstand changes and challenges and stress and all of the terrible things that can happen. But we can't let those things stop us. We have to keep going. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm here. It's why I'm sharing, because I'm here just to be the cheerleader and urge us to continue on. Okay. And remember that the goal isn't to be down in the dumps and jump in the hole. If you see somebody in a hole, your job isn't to jump in the hole with them. Okay. That's how we create like empathy fatigue. I read a New York Times article once, they called it that, empathy fatigue, where you're just so exhausted from empathizing with people and seeing people in a bad place and fearing for other people. We need to stay on the lip of the hole. So stay on the level ground so you can bring a rope in to the person in the hole and you can pull them out. Okay. It doesn't help you to get down the hole with them. You got to stay up a level above so you can bring them up and you can have compassion for yourself and for the other person. So that's what we have to learn, is what does compassion look like and how can I give it to myself? So we're going to do a couple exercises with that. And remember, I'm trying to make these sessions so universal that you can put them on again later. If you find them helpful today, you might find them helpful to replay later. And so I don't want to get into specifics of stuff going on, but I will put a couple resources in the description as well of things if you are interested in current events or ways you can take action about current events right now as it pertains to the moment. But that'll be in the description so as not to detract from the universal thing I'm trying to say in this video. So, and finally, the other thing that I want to mention before we get going is that the point of these sessions is also to remind people that there are ways that we can help people at the very, very bottom of the totem pole in our society, in our world, which are people in third world countries that don't have access to the kind of technology that we have, the resources that we have, and that their currency, we benefit a lot from having Western currency, and we can help them in a really great way to change their life with just a few dollars. So I've created a community of people who have donated like $20, $30 to come together to fundraise for the college fees for 2 young ladies in Sierra Leone. Only 1% of women there get to graduate college. Most of them end up getting female genital mutilation and getting married off to somebody with very low education. But these girls are really exceptional and they've made it this far. We just want to help them out with the fees so they can continue college. And so this month in February, we only have about a little over $500 to raise for one of these students. And we were able to raise $400 last week. So just celebrating everything you've done. We've reached the first step of our mission here and just spreading the word. Remember, any kind of likes or comments or shares you do of this video, you're just helping us to spread the word about the cause, and your energy and watching these helps us, again, to spread the message. So even if you can't give financially, you're giving so much just by being here, and I really appreciate your attention and your support. There are more of us that want to help, and there's a huge community of us. So this is also to remind you that you're not alone in whatever you're feeling, whatever you're doing. If you're finding it hard to handle emotions that are going on right now, I'm alongside of you and I care about you. And these sorts of sessions are here to support you so that you keep going and don't give up. Don't turn off your heart. Keep loving and caring about other people. It's an amazing gift and strength. And we need more canaries in the coal mine to keep singing. Keep singing. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little practice to dive into your feelings, which might feel scary, but we're going to do it together. And again, it is your strength. It's not your weakness. And we can do this. So I'm going to go start by rubbing my hands a little bit. And I'm starting to become aware of my body. How am I sitting in my chair? How am I sitting? Can I get more comfortable? I'm going to move my shoulders up and down. And I just want to say thank you again for being here, because doing these sessions really helps me. also. And I do enjoy the replays. It's a great excuse. So I'm gonna I'm putting my hands on my stomach. Can't see it, but got my hands on my belly. And just gonna take some deep breaths, trying to move my hands. Moving my hands up and down with these breaths. And as I'm breathing, I'm kind of like focusing on kind of pushing some of my feelings out. Okay, so I'm not pushing them out like trying to get rid of them. I'm trying to expand them out like I'm a balloon. Let's take up some space with our feelings. Just imagining as you breathe, you can feel all around you, letting your feelings take up all that space around you and the air around you. It's safe to feel whatever you're feeling right now. We're just going to take a few minutes to give ourselves space to feel. And as you breathe and as you feel whatever is going on in your body or your emotions, just acknowledge to yourself, like think to yourself, it's safe for me to be here. It's safe for me to be feeling what I feel. It's safe for me to be who I am and to be as I am. Just like you would reassure a small child. Like, I'm here to listen. This is compassion. I'm here to listen. Just like you would to a little kid. We're listening to ourselves. And all those deep, deep parts that might not have a voice, but we sense they're there. Aching to be heard, wanting to be heard, and to be believed. Let's just say to ourselves right now, I believe you. I believe you're right to feel exactly how you feel. And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And let's just do a little healing on ourselves. I'm moving my hand on my heart. And just saying to myself, I'm so sorry for making you feel like you have to convince me that you're right to feel how you feel. Or convince other people. But you don't need validation. Because I'm here and I do believe you. Doesn't mean I can't learn or grow or change my mind. But right now, I'm just going to say, hey, it's okay to feel how you feel. And you don't have to justify it to be heard. Take another breath into your heart. And as you breathe, just notice any feelings of judgment or shame or anger or blame around your right to feel whatever you're feeling. Sometimes we feel like we can't feel something if we can't fix the situation. but that's not true. Let's just have permission to just have a pure feeling. Right out of the oven, raw. Authentic feeling. No judgment. No blame that you're feeling too much or too little or the wrong thing. Just going to be okay to just be you. And just let go of trying to control your feeling for a second. You can go back into control in a little bit. We're just doing an experiment. Like, if we were really able to feel whatever we felt, how would we be feeling? How would we feel if we were totally free to feel anything? And it wasn't labeled good or bad or right or wrong. Just be curious. And sit with it a moment as you breathe, feeling your body. And anywhere you're tight, just try to breathe into those spots like you could. Fill them with breath, fill them with love. Anywhere you're tense. This is self-compassion. And you need this. It's safe to do this. Even just a little. So feeling into your heart, feeling into whatever you feel, knowing that it's safe. You don't have to judge it. Let's just thank our feelings for giving us this information that we feel, that we're alive, that we're human. Good to know. That's all great information. We love it. Being alive, being a human, so beautiful. Even if it's difficult sometimes. Let's just give ourselves some thanks. So for being so highly attuned and sensitive that we can feel. And let's be thankful that we are not alone and there are other people who feel deeply too. So our hearts are the things that are going to guide us forward. And the solution is not to close it up again, but to find new ways to be. Okay, so now we're going to take a few minutes just to journal. If you have any insights from doing that process, let's write them down. You can write down what you are feeling and sensing. Any insights you have about what's next for you. So let's just take 2 minutes together to write. Okay, wrapping up. Okay, next, I want you to think about the concept of compassion, giving yourself first and foremost compassion. You can reflect on that part of the exercise that we did. How did that feel? But also, if you were standing next to yourself as like a best friend or a parent or someone who loves you, what would you recommend that you do to take good care of yourself right now through any changes you might have to experience? So we're gonna take 3 minutes to journal about giving ourselves compassion and what that could look like. Okay. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and give us 10 minutes to put our energy into something. So what we do, and then we're going to conclude. So what you can do now is I'm going to give you 30 seconds to just write down what is like the next thing that I should just do real quick. So 30 seconds. Why don't you just write down some ideas of what is the goal you're really trying to work on right now? Okay. Okay, so that was 3 seconds. So I just encourage you to just start on something that you feel is important, even if you couldn't finish it in 10 minutes. We just want to start and take some of the power out of it, some of the fear out of it. Just do something. And then after the 10 minutes, we'll conclude this co-work, but you can keep working if you want to. So let's just go for 10 minutes. Let's see what we can do in 10 minutes. No distractions, no excuses, no scrolling, no time to do anything else but just start. Just go.
Okay, so that is it for today. If you want more co-working, I have several replays that we have done before. So the next one you might want to look at is do one quick thing with me. That one can continue with a short time period, timed co-work. And just a reminder that we have a fundraiser going on to help a girl in Sierra Leone go to college. And the information about that is below through her future foundation on my site at sophiaran.com/HFF. Check the link below to make sure you have the spelling right. And you can feel free to contribute to that fundraiser, and I'll make sure that the organization gets your donations. If you have any questions about it, you can contact me through my site there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next co-work. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notifications of all my videos, and then you'll be sure to be notified when we go live next for a co-work. So hope to see you in the next one, and let me know how this was. All your likes and comments help us to spread the word about this message. Thank you.